Good afternoon, learners, and welcome to today's video where we are going to be talking a little bit about how to actually read the payslip and what sort of questions can come up when you see this in a test or in an exam. So I have two examples for you, and you can see they are still salary slips, but just a little different. Now, some of the things that they can ask you, and we're just going to read through this so that we can understand, is obviously there it's indicating to us that this is a pay slip. Now, they might ask you for the company that this individual works for, because remember, this is given from the company to the employee. So the company is Zoonadal Inc. This is the address of the company. And then we have some important information that gets asked here. So things like date of joining. In other words, they might ask, when was this individual employed? They might even start by asking, what is the name of the employee whose salary slip we see here? Well, there it tells us, employee name, Sally Harley. So now we know who the individual is. We know that they're working for this particular company. They might ask you now, when did Sally join the company? Well, there we can see date of joining. They might even rephrase it as when was Sally employed? When did she start her employment at the company? And there we can see. Now, the pay period is for August. So it's looking at the month of August that she was paid for. She is a marketing executive. So they might ask you, what is her job title? What department does she work in? And there they tell us that she's worked for 26 days. A lot of info just off the back, right at the top of our payslip. And here at the bottom, you'll see they give us a figure of 9,500 Rand. So that's what she ends up getting. Now, let's see how we actually got there. So we look on the left-hand side at the earnings. And we see that the basic earning is 10,000 Rand. There's an incentive pay. So they don't tell us what the incentive is, things like that. They just tell us there's an incentive pay of 1,000 Rand. So maybe if she makes a target, things like that. There's a house rent allowance that the company gives off, 400 Rand, and a meal allowance of 200 Rand. So typical questions that you'll find here is, what's the total of the allowances that she has? And in this case, that'll be 600 Rand. What is her basic salary that she earns? The basic is 10,000 Rand. Another one that they like to ask is, what is her gross salary? So all of this over here, this total 11,600, that would be the gross earnings. Right. Then we move over to the other side. Now remember, gross salary is before deductions. That's why we're looking at this. Our net salary, in other words, what reflects in her account on the day she gets paid, that is after deduction. So what gets deducted? Well, a provident fund, that gets deducted. Professional tax, that gets deducted. And a loan, that gets deducted. So they might ask you, what's the total of her deductions? And there we can see it's 2,100. And what does she end up with from what she started, with the basic? Her gross over here, we see that it's 9,500 Rand. That is what she will receive into her account for the month of August. Right, let's look at another one. I hope you're still with me. Yeah, salary slip. What month are we looking at? We're looking at January 2018. What is the name of the employee? It's Wayne, right? Door prize. He is part of the cleaning service staff. We see the department is general affairs. We're not given an employee ID. Now, this is important because this number over here identifies you with the company. It's your specific number that's been given to you that identifies you with the company. That is a typical question that comes up. All right, same thing as we did last time. We looked at the earnings and the deductions. So let's have a look here. We see the earnings. Basic salary, 2,000. Meal allowance, 300. Transport allowance, 300. Medical allowance, 300. Those are all allowances. So if they were to ask you, what the total of the allowances are that Wayne is receiving. It's 900 Rand, because there we can see the 3 allowances. Then they ask us, well, what is the gross salary of Wayne? And again, remember, we take our basic, we take all our allowances, everything under earnings, we add it together, and that is our gross salary. Are there any deductions? Yes, there's retirement insurance and tax. And there you can see those deductions total 50 Rand. And so his net pay, in other words, what he gets in the bank on a monthly basis, or at least for this month, is 2,850 Rand. And then they just put in his banking details as well. So, grade 10s and 11s, these are typical examples of salary slips. And these are the things we need to know for our tests and exams.